Taking the express train to the waiver wire right now on Fantasy Football Today Express. Adam Azer, Dave Richard on Friday, talking beat the waiver wire, but also Jets and Patriots. Oh, Dave, I didn't sell high. I tried to sell high on Ramondre Stevenson. It didn't work. Am I screwed? Is he horrible now?
No, I think he's still going to have plenty of games where the Patriots will be competitive, and therefore he'll get more than 6 carries. 6. That's it. Listen, the Jets did a great job of taking it slow on offense and then getting after Jacoby Brissett on defense. And they deserve credit for that. And the Patriots, as a result, didn't have the ball very much. They were behind big in the second half. That takes Ramondre Stevenson out of the game script. So anytime there's a game like that where you know the Patriots are just going to get blown off the ball like that, then Ramondre is going to be a problem for fantasy rosters.
Oh, they'll be fine next week at San Francisco then. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is a must-add player?
I think he's going to be a streamer for a while. I'm surprised he threw 35 times in the game, but he really was kind of feeling himself. He had good protection for the most part from his offensive line. And I would imagine against tougher opponents, he will not throw as much and he won't be nearly as efficient as he was in this game. So no, I don't think he's a must-add.
Do you think Garrett Wilson is still a buy low, even though he scored?
I think he should be. I don't know if you're going to be able to do so. The fantasy managers who have Garrett Wilson, they know they just had 9 targets, scored a touchdown this week. They're going to be okay with him. They're not going to be in a hurry to trade him. But you should still reach out to them and say, listen, what would it take for you to trade Garrett Wilson? Would you give up such and such? Maybe you give up 2 smaller players to get G-Dub on your team. Next week, they play Denver, and that's going to be a tougher matchup specifically for him because of Patrick Surtain at cornerback. So if Surtain locks down Garrett Wilson, and you've already been talking to the Garrett Wilson manager about trying to make a deal for him, maybe that manager will relent after week 4 and say, okay, yeah, I'll take your offer for Garrett Wilson. You can have him now. And then Garrett Wilson will take off after that Denver game.
Okay, last thing. Breece Hall's averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Braylon Allen's averaging 5.1 yards per carry. What do you think?
I think Breece Hall is still going to be the best running back far and away in New York. Now, I don't have a problem rostering Braylon Allen.
What about Devin Singletary?
Got Breece Hall. But I don't see the Jets saying, you know what, Breece Hall, you've been good, but we're going to go with the rookie. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Breece Hall is still going to be the main back there.
Is there any running back you'd take over Breece Hall rest of season?
Saquon.
Really? Okay. Has anyone said Anthony Kiedis yet for this mustache? No, that's the first one. But since I do have this mustache, let's talk about mustache players. Not why I grew it, but happy to be able to make the pun. So yeah, let's beat the waiver wire a little bit. And I asked Jamie on the show, we just did, there's a whole bunch of backup running backs that are out there that you could get, and you can't roster all of them. So who are the ones that would be a priority for you?
For the backup running backs?
Yeah, so we're talking Blake Corum, Khalil Herbert, Ty Chandler, Jaleel McLaughlin, Deontay Foreman, Samaje Perine, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Kareem Hunt.
So you named Kareem Hunt. That's where I'd start because I think in time he'll be the best running back in Kansas City. He's a good pass protector. He's good at the goal line. He's tight with Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid will trust him. The fact that they're even bringing him back after all the things that happened in his second year in the NFL is a telling sign for what they think of the other running backs on the roster. So he would be one that I would be thrilled to stash. I think Khalil Herbert kind of makes sense because DeAndre Swift hasn't gone off to a good start. But what I think would happen more than anything is that Chicago will just rotate more between those 2 guys, and then they'll still have somebody else playing on third down. So I don't know if there's really like a big winner there between Khalil Herbert or DeAndre Swift as far as a running back in Chicago that you have to have. And Bucky Irving is probably already rostered in too many leagues, so you can't really go and get him. But maybe you could trade for him. He'll be cheap, but eventually Tampa Bay has got to be unhappy with the inefficiency from Rachaad White. And Rachaad White's not 100% healthy right now either. So I wonder if Bucky Irving will be the answer to that run game sooner than later.
Yeah, he's a little more rostered than the other guys. Do you feel like what's the difference between Bucky Irving and Khalil Herbert? As they're both running behind inefficient running backs.
Yeah, I think the difference is that Herbert, I don't see Herbert completely overtaking. I don't see White necessarily completely losing all of the rushing downs work to Bucky Irving either. Like they could split it and then White can still work in the passing downs role. But we know that Rachaad White's not 100% healthy. That's a difference between him and DeAndre Swift.
Okay. We'll talk about players to stash, beat the waiver wire with at other positions when we come back on FFT Express. All right, Geno Smith's at Detroit next week. Then he gets the Giants. Deshaun Watson's next 3 games at the Raiders, after this week where he gets the Giants. At the Raiders, at Washington, at Philadelphia. I don't know if there are any other quarterbacks that you'd want to stash or if you even want to stash those 2. Your thoughts?
No, I'm definitely good with stashing Geno Smith. I like those matchups. And now's the time. If you've got a quarterback that's got an early season bye, it's time to start thinking about who you're going to pick up to replace them. So Geno would be an excellent replacement for Jared Goff, for Justin Herbert. I don't know if anybody's really starting Justin Herbert, but people are starting Jalen Hurts. Hurts is on bye in week number 5. I think going to get Geno Smith, if you've got Jalen Hurts on your team right now, makes all the sense in the world.
Okay. By the way, just to go back, someone's saying no mention of Braylon Allen. He's 36% rostered on Yahoo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, first of all, you can't beat the waiver wire with him because he already played. And secondly, on CBS, I don't have the Yahoo rates, but that's good to know. Thank you, Thomas. But on CBS, he's like 78% rosters. Let me see. I'll tell you exactly. Maybe 68. Braylon Allen, 69% roster, Braylon Allen. So, yeah, he'll be a priority for sure, but can't get him before waivers run. Wide receivers, if Rome Odunze were dropped in your league, would you pick him up?
Absolutely. He's 100% stashable. We know that he's talented. He's just getting adjusted, just like his quarterback is, to the NFL game. And he's never going to be the number 1 guy in Chicago, but he could end up being the number 2 guy. So I think that he's worth carrying on the bench. The idea behind carrying him is that you wait for him to break out and become what he is, which is a top 10 NFL draft pick, playing wide receiver, being very good and being very explosive in an offense that should get better throwing the football.
Any other wide receivers you want to stash?
I don't know what the start or what the rostership is rather for Jerry Jeudy, for Darnell Mooney, for Josh Downs, but those are 3 names off the top of the dome. Alec Pierce would be a 4th, but I'm more excited about Downs. I know that sounds weird because Pierce has been playing, Pierce has been scoring, and Josh Downs hasn't been, but I think Downs is going to become that safety blanket in the middle of the field for Anthony Richardson. And I think he desperately needs that. One other name, and I know this guy's available in a ton of leagues, is Jordan Whittington with the Rams. This is who's going to replace Cooper Kupp in the slot. He is a rookie. He is fast. He's kind of big too. And I think he's somebody who can make a difference on short area targets and will get a bunch of short area targets. Remember, it's going to be hard for the Rams to protect Matthew Stafford. They've got their tackles in. That's good. But the interior of that line, it's a mess right now. And I wonder if Matthew Stafford won't have time to throw. Certainly won't have much time against the 49ers this week. But those short throws, they will add up. Last week, I thought Tyler Johnson would benefit. He did not. Now I think Jordan Whittington is the answer.
All right. And tight end?
Yeah, the Jonnu Smith is a streamer for me this week. I didn't even look to see who the Dolphins play the week after, but it's Tennessee. That's an okay matchup. We talked about the track record of Skylar Thompson on the main show, and you mentioned that Mike Gesicki had some good numbers with Skylar Thompson. So I wonder if it's a tendency thing with Skylar Thompson, if it's a short area target thing, because Jonnu is exactly that in this offense. I kind of like him this week, and he's available in like 70+% of CBS Sports leagues.
Look at this mustache. Wow. Okay, let's answer some. I've been staring at it the entire episode. Isn't that weird? Narcissistic. Any other questions for the chat? Is AD Mitchell a hold for the second half of the season?
You could hold him, but just the way that Richardson's throwing the football and the fact that another mouth to feed is coming into that passing game in Josh Downs makes me worried that Mitchell might not have nearly as much playing time. Because for what Pierce has done, I think that's going to earn him playing time. So you're going to have Michael Pittman and Pierce on the outside, Downs in the slot. How often are they going to go to 4 wide receivers? I think it's going to be pretty rare. So Mitchell is someone who's cuttable for sure.
I am enjoying the Chili Peppers puns. Dave and Adam road tripped this in 1 hot minute. I like that. Yeah. All right. Thanks for all the mustache comments. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. And good luck this week. We got a lot more content before the game start on Sunday. So we'll see you then on FFT Express.